Curt Hennig, but to you people, I'm Mr. Perfect. And I know a lot of you people sitting there right now wonder what it's like to go through life without making any mistakes. No blemishes, no flaws, from head to toe, absolutely perfect. Yes, being perfect, it has its boring times, like a simple game of billiards. Well, fool to you common people. Like I said,
Hey, Curt Hennig fans, hello and welcome to another episode of Nobody Beats Curt Hennig Nobody. I am your host, Mrs. Witchy Perfect. Welcome, welcome. You guys will see this in May. Can you guys believe it's May already? May. So this week, we are going to see another match. We will be watching Curt Hennig versus Nick Bockwinkel on Christmas 1984. It was part of an AWA programming, I guess. Anyway, that is our main event. First, we're going to talk about, we're going to watch along to James Romero. I'm so sorry if I butchered your name. I'm sorry. Please don't hold that against me. I will get it right. If you ever do see this, please just, correct me in the comments. Just, tell me how to say it or whatever. Anyway, we're going to watch along to some of his stuff. He does have the news of the day. And of course, you guys will already know what happened with Cody Rhodes and Pat McAfee and Randy Orton. So, but we will talk about that as well. That's old news to you guys, and WrestleMania is old news to you guys right now. But I'm recording this as of April 4th. So, WrestleMania has not been done yet. Also, I hope you enjoyed that birthday bash that I had. I recorded that as of April 12th. And I had the guys with me. We just hung out and talked wrestling. Thank you to everyone who did join. I appreciate you, and I can't wait to do that again. We're coming up on this is episode 137. So I'm thinking about doing this for episode 200. Okay, so when we get there, right? So when we get there, episode 200, I will have a bunch of the guys with me, and we'll talk wrestling, and we'll just enjoy ourselves and have a good time. Of course, we will watch some Curt Hennig wrestling, of course. Anyway, so let's get to our first video here, talking about Dave Meltzer. Why can't Dave Meltzer just admit that he was wrong? So I'm going to let James take it away. Go ahead and take it away, James. And again, James, thank you for doing this. Again, I'm sorry if I butchered your name. Please let me know in the comments how to say it. So, all right, here we go.
Hello, everybody. James here. So, narcissists out there, those with the fragile ego, share a common trait among them all, and that is an absolute inability or willingness to admit that they are wrong under any circumstances. Their whole existence relies on them thinking in their little pea brains that they are smarter or more important than everybody else around them. And if you pin them down with facts to the point that they can no longer deny the undeniable, they will then attempt to turn things around on the personal people who are pointing out how they were wrong because fragile egos. Dave Meltzer recently made a proclamation, and yes, I know, I'm sorry, but this clown self-perpetuating downward spiral constantly gives me a perverse sense of entertainment, but you can never quite predict how he's going to embarrass himself next, like Grandpa Simpson at a flying hellfish funeral. But anyway, the following quote is from Meltzer himself, and he's referring to WrestleMania 42's kind of comparatively sluggish ticket sales when looking at last year's performance. But he makes one mistake, and then he potentially makes one intentionally fraudulent estimate as well. But we'll get onto that in a minute. I guess this is from Wrestling Observer Radio, where he said the following verbatim. We've had WrestleManias where they've Cleveland. The WrestleMania where they had 25,000 freebies in the building. So if they have 25,000 freebies in this building, it'll be plenty full. That's not a problem at the gate. Just from this first 35,000, the gate's through the roof. So what he's referring in the last sentence is that WrestleMania 42 has already sold 35,000 each night, and actually it's probably more like 40,000, a little over at this point. And yeah, the gate will be great, even if they don't sell a single ticket more. But anyway, this video isn't about the falsehoods that he is spreading in that quote, which there absolutely are those.
Well, what is he talking about? Freebies? What are freebies? I'm sorry, maybe I missed the forest for the trees here, but what the heck is a freebie? Like they just let people in the door and didn't have to pay? Hey, sign me up for that, because, you know, ticket prices for anything right now, WWE or the other brand, are okay, are outrageously pricey anyway. And AEW's they charge $50 per pay-per-view, whereas WWE doesn't, you know, not anywhere near that. Of course, if you're lucky enough to have the free version of, you know, ESPN Plus, I mean, to be honest, okay, sure, you know, so freebies.
Is how he reacted to the people who pointed them out to him. So, but let's talk about where he went wrong in the quote. So, for starters, WrestleMania has never been held in Cleveland, ever. In fact, it's never been held in Ohio, ever. Not once. And in fact, here is a map of all the states in the US where WrestleMania has been held. And Ohio, which I think is this one, isn't one of them. But anyway, a clear mistake there, and quite frankly, an honest error, I'm sure, which nobody would ordinarily hold against anybody in normal circumstances. But what Meltzer is probably referring to when he's talking about the Cleveland WWF WrestleMania, I guess, was WrestleMania 8, which was held in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hey, you know, wrong city, wrong state, but once again, probably an honest mistake. We all figure out that's probably what he's talking about because Uncle Dave starts spouting.
I mean, apparently he doesn't know his states. He doesn't know his U.S. states. Well, Meltzer, I learned this in elementary school, and I know the difference between Indiana and Ohio. I think he's thinking of like a SummerSlam. There was a SummerSlam, I think, in Ohio. Wasn't there? Or maybe it was Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble was in Cleveland or in Ohio somewhere. Civic Center. I think he's thinking of the Royal Rumble or some other like SummerSlam, or he's thinking of some other pay-per-view because, yeah, there was no Cleveland whatsoever, or there was no Ohio. And I know where Cleveland is too. My sister-in-law is from Cleveland. So I've never been there myself, but to shout out to all my Ohio people. Sorry that you never got a WrestleMania, but we're trying to prove a point here. But I know that they were in, I don't know if it was Cleveland, but I think they were in somewhere in Ohio at the Civic Center. Isn't there a Civic Center in Ohio? Someone in the comment section, tell me where that is. Because again, I've never been to Ohio. I've only been as far west as Pittsburgh. Sorry. I need to see more of the country, but at least I know where Ohio is. And I know it's not Indiana. All right, more of this.
Off about how the Cleveland WrestleMania was heavily papered with no less than 25,000 tickets to make the crowd, more full than it otherwise would have been had they not papered it, of course. Now, WWE, as well as WCW, TNA, AEW, etc., are not above papering their events. All of them have done it many times, and WWE, maybe one of the most famous times they did it, was at the 1997 Royal Rumble pay-per-view in San Antonio. I think that was papered by ridiculous amounts as well. Both WrestleMania 8 and San Antonio Royal Rumble were main evented by Sid as well, but I don't know if that actually means anything. I think it's more a coincidence. But anyway, what's the real number here? Is it 25,000? Is it something else? Well, the real attendance of WrestleMania 8 was 62,100 and something or so, around about there, 62,000 plus. But the general consensus is that WrestleMania 8 had maybe 8 or 9,000 tickets, freebies going out. So that's clearly way under 25,000. So where did Meltzer get 25,000 from? So we're going to have a look. And I believe it's here. Once again, a few of these posts are from Meltzer Said What on Twitter, who does good work out there and debunking a lot of Dave Meltzer's proclamations and some such. Anyway, quote, we've heard estimates of the number of freebies in the 62,167 crowd as being anywhere from 8,000 to 25,000. So I guess because this is WWE he's talking about, and now it's way into the future, he decided to write 25,000 or say 25,000 because, hey, that was the worst number. And because it's WWE, you might as well give the absolute worst number out, I suppose. But wait, there's actually more as far as numbers go. This is from an old episode of The Lapsed Fan, where Dave Meltzer, about 11 years ago, I think, said this.
More.
The place they set it up for 70. The 62 was a real number.
Okay.
But the paid was 47, and they were paid like crazy at the end.
So 62,000, 47,000. That really means that it's about 15,000. So that was what Meltzer said 11 years ago. And then he said something completely different in the Observer when he was writing at the time. And now he's saying something completely different. It's like The Rock. It's like every single year that goes by, everything has to be more extreme, you know, in Rock's case, just how poor he was back in the day. So anyway, I mean, you can make an argument there that Meltzer is just, you know, trying to spin his own narrative for whatever reason, and I don't know why. Or you can spin it as in, you know, numbers are numbers, and quite frankly, numbers can be forgotten, locations can be misremembered. Hey, look, I do it all the time as well. But anyway, if that was just the case and it was just a misspeaking, why am I making a video dedicated to this? Well, it's because of how the terminally online Meltzer decided to handle everybody telling him that he was wrong. So in this example, if it was about the major papering, that was 1992 in Indianapolis. This is from this guy saying, by the way, when was WrestleMania in Cleveland? And the way he's writing it there very much makes it seem like the other guy was mistaken. And you're going to continually see this as a theme going on through as well. And then in the second page, a couple of them where he's just saying, responding to other people, pointing out, hey, I must have missed that WrestleMania in Cleveland, Ohio that never existed, like you said it did. 92, Indianapolis, 1992. So he's not even copying and pasting here. He's writing this out every single time for whatever reason. But then we get to the more interesting bit, because we started off with like the condescending kind of, it was made for 92 in Indianapolis, the oracle there, you know. Anyway, then we get to the just saying Indianapolis 1992 without further context, or once again admission that he was wrong, kind of making it seem like it was everybody else who was wrong at this point. But then we arrive here. I live in Cleveland and never missed a show since the 90s. WTF is he talking about? Lol. Pay attention. 1992 Indianapolis. What an insufferable twat of a response there. I mean, it hurt once again.
Well, how else is Meltzer going to save face with his viewers that actually look up all his stuff? I would say something meaner, but this is a family-friendly show, right? Meltzer lives in his own like little fantasy world where everyone like us who loved the 80s and the 90s wrestling, even if it was WWF wrestling at the time, you know, the Rockin' Wrestling, which was very cartoonish, yes, but it worked, you know, for that fan base, right? And of course, the territories were dying off and they were leaving, they were passing on, expiring, if you will. Again, family friendly. No, I mean, he's absolutely correct here. James is absolutely correct here. Meltzer's lost his freaking mind. He lives in a fantasy world where everybody who is old-time wrestling school, kind of like me and Angel Riviera, and anyone else who lived in the, you know, was born in the 80s or born in the 70s and watched all the territories, watched all of the, you know, the Rockin' Wrestling and WWF stuff in the early 80s and 90s, or in the 80s and 90s. I wasn't early 80s. I was late 80s when I came around, and I started watching in the 90s. But all those old school people that watched that stuff back when we were kids, in Meltzer's world, everyone now loves AEW. We can't get enough of it. I don't even watch AEW. And again, for all my AEW fans out there, I mean no disrespect. I'm glad that you watch it, but I can't get into it. Okay. I am the old school wrestling type, and I can't get into that kind of wrestling. To me, that's garbage wrestling. Okay. But don't hate the show because, because I hate AEW. I hope we can just all enjoy Curt Hennig together. Right. That's the main goal and purpose of this show. But I think what James is saying here so articulately, is basically Meltzer lives in a fantasy world where AEW is the shiznit, or the bee's knees, as they used to say, the bee's knees, and everyone else can go screw themselves because his boyfriend, Tony Khan, who he does fellatio on every single day and calls him because, they have to check up on each other. I mean, isn't Dave Meltzer married to a woman? I guess that's just a cover. Anyway, wouldn't be the first time, right? Wouldn't be the first time. Anyway, Tony Khan is his boyfriend, and he has to make his boyfriend look absolutely fabulous and say AEW is the bee's knees. Well, guess what, Dave Meltzer? You're wrong. There's not a lot of people who like AEW, and that's why AEW had to stop literally printing their ratings. They had to stop printing their ratings because their ratings are so bad that literally they told people to stop printing them and telling them to their audiences. Now you tell me, if AEW was doing so good as Meltzer says, wouldn't they print those ratings? And they would flash it and flaunt it in everyone's face. Would they not? They probably would. But again, Dave Meltzer lives in a fantasy land where all of the wrestling fans like me, well, you were born in the 80s. I wasn't born until after 2000. I don't care. I don't care. The stuff I grew up with was good because it had Curt Hennig in it. But I digress. I'm glad that Joe Hennig is not in AEW. I wouldn't want him to sacrifice his body for those people. Tony Khan doesn't give a crap about his wrestlers. He doesn't give a crap about them because they put their bodies on the line each and every freaking week for bullcrap stories that make no sense, in my opinion. That is not something I would do. If I cared about my wrestlers, first of all, I would give them health insurance. And second, I would tell them, no, you can't do that. You're going to self-delete yourself. You're going to hurt yourself. You're going to hurt your body, and you won't be around to wrestle. I need you to wrestle until you're 60. Not, I'm 35 and I have all these ailments and I can't wrestle anymore. Will Ospreay had neck fusion surgery. He's only in his 30s. And yet you have someone like CM Punk, and you have Randy Orton, and you have, I think Drew McIntyre's in his 40s. They're almost close to 50. And they're still wrestling. John Cena, his last tour was last year, and he's 50 something. R-Truth is in his 50s, still wrestling, and not one of them has been in AEW. Cody Rhodes, I'm glad he saw the light. Maybe he can, keep wrestling until his 50s. Now, CM Punk was in AEW, but he wasn't dumb enough to do these dumb stunts that they're doing. That is crap. No one believes it. No one believes it. Except for the fans who fellatio themselves. They fondle themselves. I don't know if you could do fellatio on yourself. I don't have one of those, so I never tried. All I'm saying to everyone here is that Dave Meltzer lives in a fantasy world where everything he says is gospel. And if you don't follow it, well, there's something wrong with you. I'm still waiting for him to block me because, yeah. I keep throwing insults at him and he won't block me. So I don't know. I tried.
Without further context, once again, and admission that he was wrong kind of makes it seem like everybody else was wrong with the way he's responding. But then we arrive even further here. We get to the final boss of denial that he claimed. Here we go. Yep. And corrected myself a dozen or more times in different places before you wrote this, to another person saying, right, at what point did he say I was wrong? Or correction, I meant to say? Not. All there is actually that he's saying is pay attention, just the year and a city, and then this. And every single time he posts, he's, whether he means to or not, is making it seem like it was everybody else's fault that they just misheard or misunderstood what he was saying. And then we get to this one. You can only say I meant 1992 in Indy so many times before you have to block people for not getting it. Yeah, it's your fault. You know, there was no admission that he got it wrong. So people keep saying, hey, you got it wrong. I think this is the point. Or sorry, I think this is that point. And it's commonly known. I mean,
and as I said, you can't take Dave Meltzer seriously. Again, he lives in his own fantasy world where his boyfriend is the bee's knees and everybody loves AEW so much that they just can't get enough of it. Well, guess what, Meltzer? Reality sucks, doesn't it? Because no one likes your stupid little AEW or your boyfriend. Are you going to block me now? I please, Goddess above, please allow Dave Meltzer to block me. Because this is just off the wall stupidity at this point. I can't even believe that. Well, first of all, I'm not following the idiot in the first place. But second of all, I want him to block me. That would be like a badge of honor for me.
Once again, the ego of somebody, it's commonly known that I'll block people at a certain point. No one, very few people know or care about you. You know what I mean? In that respect, in the wrestling world, let's call this in the wrestling bubble.
Block
yes,
me.
I'm sure it's commonly known for every single wrestling fan that Dave Meltzer will block you if you apparently keep pointing out that he's wrong with facts.
Boogie, boogie,
That
boogie.
is true.
I'm not scared.
Quite sure. Now,
I'm not going to be heartbroken.
it just seems that once again, everybody else is the problem. When everybody else is the problem, it's probably you that are the problem. I'm sure you've heard that. Now, I like to think that I'm a normal-ish person, right? I don't mind being wrong. I don't mind being corrected ever. In fact, I welcome being corrected because I like to learn things. And I get things wrong. I won't say frequently, but fairly frequently. I say partially owing to the fact that doing podcasts as well. And for most people, I'm sure have never done a podcast or been in this weird situation. You're basically talking to a lens, but it's partially owing as well that when you're doing podcast and you're thinking on the fly at the same time, it's fairly hard to do. And then for me, at least, most of my...
Well, and I've always said, oh, well, correct me if I'm wrong down in the comment sections and I will do a retraction. I'm willing to admit, just like James is willing to admit when we're wrong. If we get something wrong, we're sorry. I've always corrected myself on the show. It's actually this, I think I said, Tony Schiavone's in this when it was Mike Today and Lee Marshall or something. So all I'm saying is, again, if it is the wrong information, be willing and be humble enough and don't be like Dave Meltzer and his boyfriend and live in a fantasy world. If you want to live in a fantasy world, fine. But no one else is going to agree with you on that fantasy world when the rest of us, all live in reality. The reality is AEW sucks, Meltzer. Get over it. Again, for my AEW fans, that's how I see it. I'm glad you like it, but I cannot get into it no matter. I don't care if Tony Khan gave me $1 million. I still wouldn't watch it. Or ask me for fellatio. I still wouldn't do it. Okay. So more of this, sorry.
Brain is completely on autopilot just to get through the damn thing, if nothing else. And I often have no recollection of what I've just said. But what I don't do is something, I don't say something entirely, completely, provably wrong. And then when it's pointed out to me, I then try and gaslight everybody into thinking that not only are they wrong, and that I did acknowledge that I was wrong when I didn't, or put out an apology, or, make a correction, or whatever it might be. And then basically say, look, I've already said this a dozen times that I was wrong. Look, you never said that. I'm not even corrected myself, quote, a dozen times. At no point would I say any of those particularly means a correction. It's just condescension and making it seem like everybody else is the problem here. But it's the fact that it's then, well, I will block you. You know what I mean? It's common knowledge that I will block you. Do you not understand this? It's this just nut job sort of mentality kind of thing.
I want to get that badge of honor.
I think we'll go on to this next as well. I mean, when was WrestleMania in Cleveland? Of course. I mean, it was in Indianapolis. Pay attention, of course. I never said that. You might as well have just said, I never said that. That's what I'm saying. But, I mean, answer the question. I did answer the question. Major pavement, blah, blah, blah. Etc., etc., etc. So your answer, I'm going to quote this guy. So your answer for when it was in Cleveland is in 1992, it was somewhere else. You said they papered in Cleveland, so please just provide the year in which they papered WrestleMania in Cleveland, or just admit that you comfortably say things that aren't true. Once again, I don't think that's particularly fair either. You just misspeak sometimes. I do that as well. But just this whole deny till you die, I admitted I was wrong. Nothing that I could see was an actual admission of being wrong and then getting angry when you don't do something and then claim you did. That's kind of what it's all about here. Maybe Meltzer has been writing so much drivel about wrestling for so long that he's got CTE by proxy. Maybe his ego is so out of control that it's beyond him to laugh off like normal people can.
I think it's the ego part of it. I'm going to stop sharing there. I think it's the ego part of it. I don't think that Dave Meltzer cares about any of that stuff. He just wants to make stuff up because, again, like I said, he lives in that fantasy world that everybody loves AEW wrestling. AEW has over 1 million followers. He has over 1 million views. It's beating WWE. He actually said that. He said that AEW has more viewers every single week. You can't make this stuff up. It's too stupid. He literally said that AEW is beating WWE in viewers. Let me tell you something. AEW has not once beat WWE in the ratings. Maybe NXT. That's not Raw. That's not SmackDown. He has not. WWE. No one has beat them in ratings since WCW back in the 90s. And now, and of course, we had those Monday Night Wars, right? I spent most of it watching Stone Cold Steve Austin and Curt Hennig. Anyway, my point. The only person who actually beat WWE in ratings was back in the 90s, and his name was Eric Bischoff for 83 weeks. Eric Bischoff has a podcast called 83 Weeks because he wanted to. It's about this war, the ratings war back in 1996, 7, and 8. Partially. Again, 83 weeks is like a year and a half. So 96 and 97. Maybe partially 98, right? And we talk about it all the time because I love the first part of it. I didn't really like because I didn't really understand why Curt would go to the Four Horsemen only to turn on them 2 weeks before he turns on them. That didn't make any sense to me. But it was typical WCW, right? It was typical Eric Bischoff, making storylines that made no fucking sense. Made no sense. And then turning around and flipping it on its head. I didn't get it, but maybe some people out there understood why Curt would join a faction for 2 weeks, only to literally turn on them 2 weeks later. I thought he should have either joined the Four Horsemen when he first came in, say, "Okay, Flair, I will be a Four Horseman," instead of getting the whole Arn Anderson thing. Again, you think that Curt, I mean, I'm sure Curt respected Arn Anderson. I'm sure that he, respected him because he was a wrestler just like Curt. And Arn Anderson was older than Curt. So I'm sure that, he respected his elders in the business. But for heaven's sake, that storyline made no sense. But what I'm getting at is that Dave Meltzer thinks that AEW is kicking WWE's butt in ratings. No. And that has never happened. Not in a million years. I don't know what kind of stuff he's on. Why is he not sharing, right? So if you want to block me, Dave Meltzer, you go right ahead. Mrs. Witchy Perfect. Nobody beats Curt Hennig. Nobody on X. Links are in the description field. You go ahead and block me, Mr. Meltzer. I'm a big girl. I can take it. All right. So now I'm going to take a 5-minute break. We will come back and hear a little bit of Janelle Grant. Janelle Grant has updated her alleged accusations. There we go. So they are allegedly accusations against Brock Lesnar. Some more from her stuff with Vince McMahon and so on and so forth. So new allegations, allegedly. I have to say that or they will take this down, and I don't want that. And I don't think any of you want that either. So I'll come back. We'll talk a little bit Janelle Grant, and we will move on to the Cody, Pat McAfee thing and Randy Orton. And then our main event awaits. Back in 5. All right, and we're back. All right, here we go. Get that ready for you. And we're going to hear more of the allegations about Brock Lesnar, Nick Khan, WWE, and Vince McMahon.
Hello, everybody. James here. Now, a couple of hours ago, as I record this, Janelle Grant and her legal team have sent in more legal filings and included more details into Janelle Grant's original accusations against Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis and Brock Lesnar and WWE and all the corporations, stuff like that. It's about 40 pages long. Now, I don't have a format. I've not managed to read through all of it, but I have got quite a few interesting things that have come out, new details that weren't in the initial filing and then the updated filing. Once again, Vince McMahon and WWE et al., they want the lawsuit to go away and it to be, they basically want to compel it to go to arbitration, this argument, because if nothing else, it'll be a lot cheaper for them all, for Vince McMahon especially, if it's found in Janelle Grant's favor, and it's also a lot quicker. And there's other reasons as well. They don't want it in front of a jury, basically, because I think they feel that Janelle Grant's probably more likely to win as well. So I don't have a proper format in front of me, but I want to go through a few things that I picked up to talk about. I'm going to do a lot of reading and quoting from here. This first one was amalgamated basically by Cage Side Seats, and I'm going to be going through the actual court documents as well, but I wanted to read you this one. So on May 9th, 2020, I was forced to participate in a threesome with Vince and his friend, during which Vince lost control of his bowels on my head. Now, this, once again, this cannot be overstated that this was the headline from the first one, and it's not funny. It's bizarre. And once again, it just says, he and his friend continued the threesome. And also on the old one, in the initial filing, it said that Vince went off and had a shower. I was instructed to stay and continually to gratify Vince. Grant says her life changed for the worse when Nick Khan joined WWE in August 2020. So Nick Khan was announced as WWE's new president and chief revenue officer. In hindsight, I view Nick's arrival as the moment that changed my life for the worse. My fears about reporting the abuse were realized when I learned from Vince that he put the company's new president, essentially his second in command, on notice of his ongoing sexual conduct with me. Nick never asked me whether the relationship was consensual. In that sense, I generally don't ask people that if I know they're in a relationship. I just wanted to point that one out. Instead, Nick also waited for Vince to finish engaging with me sexually during meetings, then to March 2021. Vince then informed me that he had spoken privately with Nick Khan and Brad Bloom. Is it Blum or Bloom, however you pronounce it, during which he formally disclosed the sexual nature of his relationship with me. He said they expressed concern and one questioned whether I could be trusted. Vince told me he had provided them with assurances about my loyalty character, that I would never do something to WWE, etc., etc. Before March 9th, Vince warned me of the consequences of anyone knowing about our closeness. But apparently everybody in the upper echelons of WWE did actually know. Vince said that WWE leadership knew about Vince's then current and ongoing conduct with me. I felt a level of immense powerlessness, fear, and utter humiliation that I'd never felt before, because a group of men at the top of the company knew intimate details about me. Later on, there was a meeting with some of the higher-ups where they basically said that Janelle Grant was a corporate liability, and essentially, with liability, the executives, and was subsequently terminated because of that. Grant saw no way out of the situation, and anyway, we'll get to this last bit. Of this bit anyway, there's quite a few new bits of information. We'll get to the rest in a second. I saw no way out of this between Vince, Nick, Brad, and Johnny Laurinaitis, and corporate plan that dealt me, followed by Vince's instructions to walk to my new boss's hotel room, which is John Laurinaitis, to sexually serve myself to him as breakfast, quote unquote. Weeks later, around the beginning of April, I found myself in such immense emotional, physical pain that I attempted to that. She says elsewhere that I think she was instructed about 5 separate times. I think
Self-deletion. It's called self-deletion. That's the nice way to put it. I don't know anymore. I tend to think that she was a willing participant. I don't know anymore. I don't know how to feel about this story. I don't know how to feel. I mean, I feel bad for Janelle Grant. And I know how it, appears that, wealthy men get away with really crazy stuff. Everyone knows my stance on, certain people in politics. I think everyone is one. So the only thing I can say to it is, I feel bad for her. So trigger warning for all those out there who are very sensitive to this stuff. Maybe you should skip this part and go on to the main event, or at least the Randy Orton thing with Pat McAfee, which we will go into in a couple of minutes. So anyway, so trigger warning for all those. Yeah. So hopefully, if you don't want to hear about this, please move on. I don't know if I'll have any places, I'm not sure, or timestamps. I don't think I'll have any timestamps. They kind of randomly do timestamps for people, and then I'm not sure where the timestamps are. So, but anyway, if you want to move on to the Randy Orton part of this, you can. I think that is enough anyway. I do feel for Janelle Grant, but I tend to think that, because she still got $1 million, or she got $2 million, I think. And I would expect her to give the money back. Give the money back. And then you can talk about, oh, well, they did this to me and they did that to me. And I'm going to give the money back because it's in good faith, because I'm really telling the truth on this. Again, I don't know who to believe. I definitely don't believe Vince McMahon, because, again, I don't trust Vince as far as I can throw my car. So believe all women until there is evidence that says otherwise. Okay. That's what I definitely believe. And again, trigger warning for those who were hearing about it. But yeah, so she's saying that Nick Khan did know about the relationship, and even that Brock Lesnar had something to do with it. So, so anyway, let's move on to something a little happier. Yeah, let's move on. So take a 5-minute break, and I will come back, and we're going to talk about Randy Orton and Pat McAfee. All right, guys, we're back. We're not going to watch all of this, just a little bit of it, because we do have our main event. I'm not sure how long our main event is, but at least we can, get through and see a little bit of this. So this is the worst reveal ever. Take it away, James.
Hello, everybody. James here. Wow. What a reveal that was. Please come back, Road Dogg. All is forgiven. But not that I ever actually blamed Road Dogg for any of the mess that WWE creative managed to land themselves in 2026. In fact, Road Dogg was saying recently that he left WWE to spend more time with his family and friends, but I'm absolutely serious that the shit booking in WWE, where apparently nobody was listening to him at the entire time in creative meetings, had to factor in. But honest to goodness, holy fucking jumping shitballs, that was one of the worst reveals of all time, it's got to be said. And there were some things I liked about it, but it will all make sense in this video, my entire thought process. But the past 12 months of creative in WWE, there's just weird decision-making after weird decision-making with so many of the major storylines here that I've seen from them. And this is since the Vince McMahon era, where he literally believed that because he had impossibly short-term memory, that everybody else, including all of the fans, did as well. So nothing made sense from week to week, and there was no clarity or cohesiveness. Anyway, just with the Cody versus Randy Orton storyline, Cody lost the WWE title to Drew McIntyre back in January. So I'm going to do a tiny recap here, where if the stipulation was if Cody lost, which he did, Cody would not get another shot at Drew McIntyre ever again until he wasn't champion anymore, I guess. This was disregarded about 6 weeks later when SmackDown general manager Nick Aldis said that Cody was getting a shot at Drew because, well, he just was. So Cody is then WWE champion in because he wins it, and then Randy Orton wins Elimination Chamber to be the number one contender. And then, I don't know, a couple of weeks later, Randy Orton then kicks Cody in the balls for reasons that I'm still not entirely sure of, except for Orton saying that he was now listening to the voices in his head. But it was actually just one voice in his head emanating from his own phone. And that voice has now been revealed to be former Indianapolis Colts punter, and it's Pat McAfee, a kicking specialist, so I read on Wikipedia anyway. Yes, the ex-part-time WWE commentator was the one motivating Randy Orton to turn heel on Cody and be more aggressive. That's the entire story here. And anyway, when I saw, because I actually saw it before I saw SmackDown, as is the way often, I saw Pat McAfee being revealed, and my exact reaction was, why? So, I mean, seriously, why Pat McAfee? And I'm saying this as someone who likes Pat McAfee. He is a celebrity, but not really in WWE, where he's basically part of the furniture. He's kind of one of the guys at this point. He's been on TV, WWE for years. He's another guy in the roster practically, even though he left his role a few months ago.
Well, yeah, he likes to do the yeeting. And she's just like, come on, Cole, let's yee, you know? And I'm just like, no. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to do too much of this. We'll do maybe a couple minutes and then we'll go on to our main event. But I just had to at least shout out to, I mean, this, I couldn't even believe it. And I found out, I wasn't even watching SmackDown. I was actually on Angel's show last night talking politics. And all of a sudden it came around that Pat McAfee was turning heel now. Okay, cool, I guess. Fun.
But think about it. Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes have been associated with each other off and on screen WWE for nearly 20 years. Did the apparently drastically overpaid WWE creative team not have any ideas between the lot of them to somehow manufacture a coherent storyline between the two with all that history? Apparently not. WWE creative, and here's my guess, thought that the mystery box thing worked out so well with Danhausen. And make no mistake about it, the problems were with that is that not enough people knew Danhausen anyway, because he'd not really been on AEW that much, at least recently, and he'd never been on WWE. So not enough people knew him. But the real issue is that with the mystery box, the expectations were set so high by the fans themselves. I think the fans had basically conned themselves into thinking, maybe me as well, thinking, I'm trying to think if I really did think Chris Jericho was going to come. I thought it was a possibility. But anyway, they thought that Chris Jericho was going to be coming out in that box.
Jericho's still under contract, and I think he just showed up on, again, this is April 4th, and I am recording this. he just showed up on AEW again. So we knew it wasn't Jericho. I laughed at everyone who said it was Jericho because I was like, no, he's still under contract at AEW. He literally just came back on AEW programming. So, yeah.
For weeks, it was kind of like the new version of that egg where the gobbledygook came out. Anyway, fans had conned themselves into thinking Chris Jericho was coming out where he was apparently breathing through a glory hole and eating splinters and drinking his own piss like Kevin Costner in Waterworld for sustenance for weeks on end as he was carted around the country. So anyway, they make up another mystery immediately, which is great. I love a mystery. Everyone loves a mystery in wrestling. The mystery caller this time, and it's Emperor Palpatine directing Darth Vader, turning him to the dark side to commit dastardly acts in pursuit of that 15th world title, except I'd bet good money that they had absolutely no idea who was eventually going to be revealed as the other person on the line. So anyway, fans.
So they picked McAfee. All right, we're going to stop sharing there. Like I said, I only wanted to do a little bit of that because I found out through my little brother, Alex, who again, not my little brother, but I call him my little brother because, you know, I have a whole family here online. But anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. McAfee is Senator Palpatine instructing, the pulling the strings on Darth Vader, turning to the dark side. Yeah, so anyway, I'm going to take a 5-minute break and I'll be right back with you and we'll get to our main event, which is Nick Bockwinkel versus Curt Hennig. This is Christmas 1984, some kind of special that they did for AWA, not AEW. I'm glad AEW wasn't around back then. I don't think they would have survived because they would have stop doing that stuff. But anyway, I'll take a 5-minute break and we'll be back with you. All right, fans, here we go. Nick Bockwinkel versus Curt Hennig. This is AWA, American Wrestling Association, Christmas show, 12/25/1984. So if you guys would like to find that this is YouTube. If you'd like to find it on YouTube, go for it. AWA Christmas show 12/25/1984. I'm going to hit play and away we go.
And he is taking it slowly, as they say, one step at a time. But he has not been in against the likes of Nick Bockwinkel. Bockwinkel, a tremendous champion. Stretching, bending the rules, if you will, breaking them on many occasions. And he admits to that very, very thing. Reversal here by the young man out of Robbinsdale, Minnesota. And quickly move and counter move, and they're back to their feet again. Bockwinkel knows all of the tricks in the trade. While to a certain extent anyway, Curt Hennig in his youth is still learning. But he learns well, and he has a tremendous instructor in his father, Larry the Axe Hennig. Both employ the axe maneuver in their wrestling repertoire. And a punishing maneuver it is. Forearm smash, again, 2 of them by the former champion. 3 of them stuns Curt Hennig. A vicious roll into the turnbuckle. And again, Bockwinkel on Curt Hennig. Heavy assault here by Nick Bockwinkel. He has brought out the heavy artillery. There's certainly no doubt about that. He knows he cannot let up on this young man who has youth on his side and quite possibly resiliency on this side. But of course, from a talent and experience standpoint, Bockwinkel should have the advantage. But maybe not in talent. Experience, yes. He does not want Curt Hennig having any rest outside that ring, and there he takes Curt Hennig's head to the ring table. Hennig is stunned, shakes his head. Bockwinkel does not give him a moment's peace. Takes a boot to the head, and all the time referee Jim Mitchell has his hands full just in admonishing the former heavyweight champion. Say nothing about keeping track of everything else that's going on. Oh, a tremendous forearm to the face of Curt Hennig. Hennig has taken and absorbed a tremendous amount of punishment, and there's a boot to the midsection, to the rib cage, that also takes its toll.
Come on, Curt.
You see the relentless attack of Nick Bockwinkel on the young man out of Robbinsdale, Minnesota, Curt Hennig. It's all part of winning in the book of Bockwinkel. Bockwinkel continuing the attack. Getting back into the ring just in time before disqualification. He knows how to do it, doesn't he? Curt Hennig. I'm sure we'll learn a lot from this match tonight. Again, a forearm by Bockwinkel. And again, down goes Curt Hennig. Hennig has taken a tremendous amount of punishment here. As you can see, he is in a tremendous amount of pain. And Bockwinkel not letting up. Bockwinkel knowing he has a certain amount of time that he can spend outside that ring. Goes outside of the ring. Again rams the head of Curt Hennig to the table. Again, he is back in just in time to preclude being disqualified. The knack of the champion. You may not like it, but it certainly is effective and has been for many, many years for Nick Bockwinkel out of Beverly Hills, California, with a 20-pound weight advantage, we might say, in this match. Bockwinkel working the crowd now and getting, I'm sure, just about what he expects. Maybe not what he wants, but certainly what he expects. Hennig in a bad, bad way outside that ring. And right before he is counted out, now Hennig takes and works on the left leg of the former heavyweight champion.
5 minutes.
This is one fall in 45 minutes. These two are going to have to get back into the ring shortly. They do beat the count of Jim Mitchell. And now Curt Hennig goes to work on Nick Bockwinkel. Oh, what a smash. What a smash. Again, Curt Hennig. Drop kick by Hennig. Cover here quickly. 2. The former champion stunned, but not to the point of being ready to take the count of 3 yet. Out he goes.
Bye.
And now,
Come on, Curt.
Curt Hennig taking a page from Nick Bockwinkel and not allowing Bockwinkel time to recoup outside the ring.
Hey, turn around is fair play. Isn't that what Gorilla used to say?
Again, Hennig winding up and firing away. That certainly rattles the cage of Nick Bockwinkel. Again, Hennig. Again, that right hand to the side of the head. Perfectly legal blow, as long as it's not with a closed fist. Oh, watch Hennig here. Up with Bockwinkel. The suplex. He comes crashing down to the canvas. Is Bockwinkel out of it? Here's a quick cover by Hennig. A count of 1 and 2. And somehow or another, Nick Bockwinkel is able to struggle out after absorbing a tremendous suplex. He came crashing down. And that shows you something of the condition of the former champion, who wants nothing more than to be the champion again. Front face lock.
Oh,
Bockwinkel dug a fist to the midsection.
come on, Curt.
Hennig, you heard him go,
Yeah, I
going
did.
out here.
Oh,
Form of a clothesline, but it looks like Curt Hennig may have injured his left arm or shoulder. Both men are certainly stunned, to say the least. Bockwinkel is first to his feet, sensing he has the young man in trouble again. But Hennig drives 2 right hands to the solar plexus and then to the head. And an elbow smash is on its way. Front face lock by Hennig.
Come on, Curt.
Bockwinkel bulldogs his man to the corner.
Oh.
And now with flying tackle effect and power, drives the shoulder into the solar plexus, the midsection, the rectus abdominis, if you will, of one Mr. Curt Hennig. Big back body drop. Oh! Here's a cover. Count of 2, but Hennig has his leg on that rope strand, and I believe he got the left shoulder or right shoulder off in time anyway. Again, knee lift, and Hennig cartwheels into the center of the ring. Again the knee, and again the cartwheel. A cover here by Bockwinkel. Count of 2.
Nope.
Somehow, from somewhere,
Come on, Curt.
Curt Hennig was able to get that right shoulder off the mat. Are we going to see the pile driver? Bockwinkel likes to put that on. But no, it's reversed. And up and over goes Bockwinkel on a back body drop. Bockwinkel stunned, but Curt needs some time. Bockwinkel going for the sleeper. That's what he is. This is the Nick Bockwinkel sleeper hold.
Come on, Curt.
Bockwinkel says that any Gagne sleeper hold has always been a choke, but his is not.
Elapsed time, 10 minutes.
We're at the 10-minute block of this 45-minute match.
Time.
Bockwinkel putting the sleeper hold on Curt Hennig. Hennig trying to hang in there. Referee Jim Mitchell checking to see how much, quote, in there, unquote, he is. Maneuver by Curt Hennig. Bockwinkel taking punishment from the top turnbuckle. Then he rifles a right hand twice to the forehead. Left hand to the midsection 4 times. And back to the head with the right hand goes the former champion. Twice to the side of the face. A left hand to the midsection as he fires away with lefts and rights on Curt Hennig. The beetle throw. Hennig comes crashing down to that canvas. Again, it's off the rope. And again, up and over. A reversal here by Curt Hennig, but only a count of 1. The ring-wise Nick Bockwinkel, I believe, saw that one coming and powered his way out of it very quickly and drives right hands again to the head of Hennig. Hennig is stunned, staggering. Bockwinkel had the sleeper on him moments ago. Is he going to try again? He is hopefully going to or try to soften him up, but Hennig comes slingshotting off the ropes and a forearm smash and a backhand and a right hand.
Get the axe! Get the axe!
And Bockwinkel is staggered.
Do the axe!
5 times to the head goes Curt Hennig. And Hennig has come back. A 6th straight shot to the head, unanswered by the AWA King, Nick Bockwinkel, former AWA King, Nick Bockwinkel. Bockwinkel tried to work the knee to the midsection. Hennig got out of the way. Hennig now, see what he plans to do. This is the head cracker. Bockwinkel may be on his way. The whip, the reversal, and again another reversal here by Hennig. And again, Bockwinkel in trouble, and again he gets out of it. Bockwinkel still having all of his wits about him. Across the ring, he takes Curt Hennig. Again. And again, the same reversal one more time, and a count of 2. Bockwinkel now with the single leg pickup. Step over. Okay, here is the Figure 4 step
Figure
over
4.
toe hold. Indian deathlock, call it what you will. Tremendously punishing
there's
hold.
difference. This
Curt
is a figure
Hennig
4.
shaking
Indian
his
deathlock is
hand.
something else.
Jim Mitchell in constant contact with him. Seeing
reach
if
for
it is
the
too
ropes.
much.
Come on, Curt, reach
The
for the ropes.
pain is unbearable. Well, not quite. If it were unbearable, Hennig, of course, would have submitted. He has not as of yet. Oh, what these wrestlers have to go through for victory or just to be in the game.
Come on,
You can
Curt.
see the expression on Curt Hennig's face and the amount of punishment that he is taking.
Yeah, turn it over.
Turn it over.
Now it's on
And
Nick.
somehow or another break the hold or turn the tables on Nick Bockwinkel. Hennig has a hold of the rope strand. Bockwinkel is told that the hold must be broken. That is not an easy task in itself as they have the legs wrapped up in knots. Bockwinkel hammering down on that left knee of Curt Hennig, and that can do tremendous damage. Again, the leg lock. Tremendous pressure on the knee and the ankle of the left leg, and the right knee of the right leg is being hyperextended. How any one man can withstand the pressure, the pain of all this, I can't tell you. But you're seeing it happen. You're seeing Curt Hennig gut through it all and struggle to the ropes and force Nick Bockwinkel to break the hold with the help of referee Jim Mitchell. But right back to it again is Bockwinkel, back to the leg anyway. The knee drop, using with the aid of that lower rope strand. And Curt Hennig's left leg is taking tremendous punishment. Here is a... Curt Hennig has done it. I believe that was a 3 count. Referee Jim Mitchell says it was. Dick Jankowski at ringside is ringing that bell, and Curt Hennig has turned the tables on the former AWA champion and turning a disadvantage into his own advantage of a small package, and he caught Nick Bockwinkel completely off guard and got the victory with a pinfall. But Nick Bockwinkel is not done. He does not take kindly to this and has tossed Curt Hennig outside of that ring. Let's see if Curt is going to be coming back and see if this war goes on. Uh-oh, to the ring post. Nick Bockwinkel takes the young man from Robbinsdale, Minnesota, rams his head into the ring post, and if he hadn't lost it before, he certainly has lost it there. He would have been disqualified for that kind of a move, and Curt Hennig on his hands and knees outside that ring. You can see him struggling. He is at the ring apron. We will keep our eye on it for you. Curt Hennig. This match is officially over. Referee Jim Mitchell is dumped outside the ring. Curt Hennig is back in, and Bockwinkel ripping right hands to the forehead of Hennig. And it looks like there's a pretty good cut that may have been opened up there. Again, Bockwinkel with another right hand to the damaged forehead of Curt Hennig, who is blinded possibly by blood, and he certainly has been just about knocked senseless. Bockwinkel continuing to rip away. Somehow or another, this is going to have to be stopped. Curt Hennig may be severely injured. He doesn't know where he is. Bockwinkel is now going to put the pile driver on him. Oh, down. Hennig comes crashing to the canvas. Help is on the way, I have been told, for Curt Hennig. And again, Nick Bockwinkel, again with the pile driver. Again, down goes Curt Hennig into the ring. Comes several wrestlers. Well, this is Tom Stone. And he is being worked over now by the former champion, Eddie Sharkey. Referee is also in there. Marty Miller has come in. Oh, let us hope that Curt Hennig is not severely injured.
All right, guys. So that is our main event. I hope you enjoyed it. It goes on for a couple more minutes. Obviously, I got to get out of here. I got stuff to do, editing and whatnot. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Nobody Beats Curt Hennig. Curt Hennig versus, Curt Hennig, not Henning. I do correct a couple of people. They're like, oh, I'm so sorry. Hey, you're not offending me. I'm sure Curt was used to it. You're not offending me at all. It's just, it's Hennig, right? Not Henning. So anyway, I'm out of here, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Join me next week and we'll have another episode of Nobody Beats Curt Hennig Nobody. And we will have another match in AWA. It is Curt Hennig versus Mr. Saito again. This one is the 28th. So December 28th, 1984. This was after Christmas and before New Year's. So join me next week for that match, and I will see you again. And remember, everyone, nobody beats Mr. Perfect. Nobody. Bye, guys. Hey, Curt Hennig fans. Hello, and welcome to the Shameless Plugs. I wanted to do an updated version because I no longer have Patreon. I don't know if anyone has seen and down in the description field. The first shameless plug I would like to do is for my Cash App and my PayPal account. If you can donate, please, please, please donate today. I actually had one donation, but that was more for my birthday. So anyway, if you can donate, please see the links in the description field for my PayPal and my Cash App. I'd like to start off by saying also, and I will say this at the end, I have an AI outro that is AI generated. I actually made a country song dedicated to Curt. I made several. Just in case, there also maybe in the future or right now is going to be an AI intro. So I just want to let you know that the intro also could be AI, and this is for Amazon. This is for YouTube only. YouTube only. So the first shameless plug I would like to do is Kit Cabello. He is one of my great, great friends. I love him to death. And what a great man, great guy, all around great friend as well. You can catch him on Heartlands Media. That's 9 a.m. Central, Monday through Friday. And he will tell it like it is. Trust me, he will tell it like it is. Can't say enough great things about Kit Cabello. Also, check out Angel Riviera. He is in Angel in the Afternoon. And of course, he is my host for Pro Wrestling Talk. Pro Wrestling Talk is every Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, though those are scheduled to change due to family issues or WrestleMania or a pay-per-view. Also, I would like you to, but definitely check out Angel in the Afternoon. It is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And he also tells it like it is. Way to go, Angel. Okay, on to deconstructing topics. My big brother, Dave. I can't say enough great things about Dave. He is a big supporter of mine, and I'm a big supporter of him. If you check out Deconstructing Topics, he has his own show. I'm not sure what episode he's on right now, but he has a great podcast. Please, please, please listen to it. You can check it out on YouTube. I don't know if he's on Rumble, but I'll see if I can get a Rumble link. All these links are in the description field if you want to check these people out. Also, I'd like to mention my little kid brother, Alex Knight. We are actually not really related, but I see him like a little brother. So anyway, Alex Knight, you can find him on Angel in the Afternoon. You can also catch him on Pro Wrestling Talk. And I think he's going to do a baseball podcast with Angel as well. So check that out. That'll be on Sundays. I'm not sure the time. I'll have to get that from Angel later. But I just want to make sure that you check him out because he is a great person and someone I can call friend and little brother. The next shameless plug I'd like to do really fast is Black Magic Talk is my other show, guys. If you would like to check that out, all you have to do is click the link in the description field, and blessed be to you if you are also a witch, wizard, or warlock, or whatever you call yourself. You can check that out in the description field. We have a lot of fun over there. I love to have on special guests, especially Sonia Smith. She's a very dear friend of mine. I hope you will subscribe to all these people on YouTube or on Rumble. We are also on Rumble. The Rumble description field, the link is in the description field. Sorry. If you would like to check that out, this will be going on YouTube, of course, because I don't need this for Rumble. I could put it on Rumble. I think I might. So if you are on Rumble watching this and you would like to see the YouTube version of this, it's mostly audio that you will see, except for this part, right? Just check us out on YouTube. The link is in the description field. And again, if you want to check out Black Magic Talk, you can check that out too, where we talk everything pagan and Wiccan. There is no evil or black magic, of course. It's all great fun, and we have a good time. If you like a personal tarot reading from me, click the link in the description field below. I can get you my, my pricing and stuff. If you would like to be a guest on the Black Magic Talk, or if you'd like to be on Pro Wrestling Talk, you can DM me on X. My X is in the description field for both Black Magic Talk and for Curt Hennig podcast. Go ahead and hit those in the description field and DM me, and feel free to ask if you'd like to be a guest. If there's anything else, concerns, or if you would like to just give feedback, you can always DM us on X and so on. Just want to mention my Cash App and my PayPal account are in the description field. If you can give to the show, great. If not, please enjoy the show. That's what we are mainly here for, just for your entertainment purposes only. And again, I will reiterate that the AI outro song is AI generated. That is for everyone, for Rumble and for YouTube. Also, there could be an AI intro song. Just want to let you know that if there's ever an intro song, it is AI generated on YouTube. I created a couple of songs here and there, a couple of country songs I think that Curt would like. So I hope you check those out. And remember, everyone, nobody beats Mr. Perfect or Curt Hennig. Nobody.
I remember those nights in the TV glow, watching you a hero in the ring. With every match, you'd steal the show, making us believe in impossible things. Golden locks and a confident stride, wrestling through battles both big and small. With a perfect plex, you turned the tide, Mr. Perfect, you had it all. Oh, Mr. Perfect, where'd you go? In our hearts, you still steal the show. In a world that's moved too fast, your legacy's meant to last. Behind the glitz and all the fame was a man with strength and grace. Though we never knew your name, you left a mark time can't erase. I can still hear that entrance theme echoing through arenas and TV screens. A legend in his prime and dream, you remain in all our scenes. Stars glow bright, I think of you and your fearless fight. Gone too soon, but still inside. Mr. Perfect, you are a guiding light. Oh, Mr. Perfect, where'd you go? In our hearts, you still steal the show. In a world that's moved too fast, your legacy's meant to last. Oh, Mr. Perfect, where'd you go? In our hearts, you still steal the show. In a world that's moved too fast, your legacy's meant to last. dark-top Cadillacs, but we never knew your name. You left a perfect